Good morning, everyone. It's a great pleasure for me to be here for this ChangeNOW 2026. I have 12 minutes for evoking my research work, my proposal on sustainable urban proximities. In fact, the question is today, in cities where the majority of population lives today, how could we develop the best of resilience in face with our essential challenges: climate change, economical inequities, and social exclusion. I proposed 10 years ago, in 2015, a few months after the COP21, this concept, the 15-minute city. What is this concept? In fact, in the 15-minute city concept, the less important point is the number of minutes. 15, 20, 10, 5, no matters. The question is, how could we, at the same time, could fight against the climate change and at the same time to develop a vibrant local economy, employment, added value, and more livable cities, sustainable interactions, vibrant neighborhood. This is the sense of my research work. Today, this concept have spread worldwide. My books are translated today into 14 languages, just for evoking the importance for creating, developing, fostering a new transitions, for having a new lifestyle, work style, commuter style. 6 years ago, exactly, during the electoral campaign of the mayor of Paris, Anne Hidalgo, she has embraced this concept, the 15-minute city for Paris, for developing a new backbone, for giving a coherence to her urban policy in Paris. We have launched this concept in January 2020 for presenting to Parisians this way for reconciling at the same time the strong reduction of our CO2 emissions, to reduce our fine particles related to the presence of massive presence of individual cars, at the same time to develop a lot of activities in proximities. Jean Jouzel, Nobel Prize with the IPCC, and myself were the scientific advisor for inspiring this electoral campaign. Yesterday, we have the new mayor of Paris, Emmanuel Grégoire. He embraced the continuity of this urban policy. He said yesterday, I will be the mayor of hyper proximity for Paris. This is essential today for considering that, regardless of the size of density of cities and territories, we need to reconcile sustainability for reducing our CO2 emissions and at the same time, quality of life. This concept today has adopted worldwide by the main international organization of cities, but the essential mayor of a lot of different cities, metropolises, but as well regions, countries, and small cities, including ruralities. In reality, to fight against climate change is not only a question of reducing CO2 emissions. This is a triple challenge: to propose the measures in the ecological way, in the economical and social way too, for having a positive impact. This is the sense of this concept. Even if the name is X-minute city, happy proximity, vital neighborhoods, vibrant neighborhood. The question is today to change radically the paradigm for living in cities. Don't forget, in 2026, we have been continuing to live with the same paradigm of the 20th century for cities, the Le Corbusier paradigm, the Athens Charter. Le Corbusier said, the city that succeeds is the city that moves fast and furious. This is the pattern. After the Second World War, in all cities in the 5 continents, this is a nonsense, the zonification. Le Corbusier said, we need to be concentrated for developing inactivity. For this reason, we had the corporate business district, just for working, the residential areas, just for living, for middle class, for working class, for rich people, the cultural activities, etc. This digital maps is a classical modern city, one color for defining a zone for inactivity. Of course, for changing of an activity, we need to commute. This is the reason for having worldwide this time spent in a long daily commute, and in particular at the same hours, the peak hours, early in the morning, late in the evening. We wanted to change radically our lifestyle, work style, commute style, for improving the quality of life. And the essential point today is offer to citizens dwellers, to the inhabitants in cities, a real well-being. The well-being is proposed by this idea of proximity for developing a new kind of city at the opposite of the functionalism, of the zonification, by the mix of the functions and the mix of the social categories in a polycentric city, the Rambo of the well-being. The time is the new urban frontier, the sense of belonging, for escaping to be anonymous, for escaping to neighborhood as the dormitory places. This is our commitment today, to change from the cities strongly, for escaping to the addiction to individual car, for escaping to the absence of physical activities, for creating, developing cities for people, for stopping to continue to be the modern centers, half human, half cars, for becoming the 100% humans in cities. This is the sense. We don't have a choice today in fight to climate change, urban illnesses, social exclusion, difficulties for having a social housing, the traffic jams, the unhuman malls, the absence of democracy by the authoritarian governments. We need to propose a new kind of city. Proximity exists in a lot of cities, but this is a privilege for just anyone people, for certain people by the higher revenues. We need to transform that. The life is in blue for people that live in the historical centers. The life is in red when people live so far. 10 kilometers, 20 kilometers, 40 kilometers, this is no way. No more services, just one roof and 4 walls. We said housing is not just a roof. Housing is, at the same time, services. Services for having the quality of life. The 50-minute city, in fact, is a way for fighting against the temporal injustice, the spatial injustice, for fighting against the social exclusion, the urban segregation, for fighting against the social vulnerability. The 15-minute city, the X-minute city, is in a way for developing more livability in cities. This is a way, and I hope that in ChangeNOW you will conserve the souvenir for evoking that it is possible today, change here and now our lifestyle for giving the possibility for living in a real humanity. Thank you so much.